anything. I'm here to teach Jiu-Jitsu and bust balls. All right. I'm gonna borrow Web since he's wearing different. Should have borrowed Aaron.
No, you're not wearing a rash guard.
Alright, so let's say I get the side control, right? So, side control. So, for me, I have to have a dynamic side control, which also consists of controlling the head, right? Controlling the head means that you have to make sure that the head doesn't control you. Whenever you're here and he can not lean his head back, but tuck his chin and lift his hip, that's what controls my arm. Okay, so now his head, neck, and upper body is controlling my arm. If he begins to just gently frame my head away that way, I can't even pull this out effectively. Okay, as he begins to kind of push my head towards his knee and lift his hip, but flat, towards the outside knee. Tuck your chin, yes, and lift your hip even more. My hand even gets stuck right here. So this right here is also a timing for you to let them pull the hand out on your terms. So tuck your chin, lift your hip even more. So here I can pull it out. And what he can do here is, as I pull it out here, he can go for that C-frame inside that elbow. And yes, and then begin to create space. If I beat that C-frame this way here, because I can't beat it into him here, because it's going into his bottom shoulder. What you can do with the C-frame is to lift it up higher, but then you expose the armpit, so he goes with the right hand in the armpit, and then he C-frames me away that way, or he'll take me over that way. So you gotta make sure that you're controlling the head, and that their head is not controlling you. So what I'm always trying to do is lift the head off the mat. When you lift their head and scoop their head, I don't want you to do it this way because it's weak. It's easier to do it this way here, okay? It's hard for him to lift his hip right now, because you can't bridge unless your head's on the mat. Okay? If his head's off the mat, bridge. It's not even an effective bridge. If his head's on the mat, now he can bridge. Very effective. Okay? So from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mount, and I'm gonna begin to use rolling the hips, switching the base, and controlling the head, okay? And mounting. But when I mount, I have this underhook. I'm gonna keep this underhook, and then I'm gonna reinsert this crossface here. So mount, what's really effective is to mount this way here as I reinsert that crossface here. And what I'm doing again is controlling his head, and I want to control the hips this way here. Not this way, but this way here. Every time my knee comes off the mat, my hip engages. And you think, just as a point of reference, your toes pointing up. So if I lift my toes towards the ceiling, like my right toes, my right hip engages down, okay? And I can do what's called skydiving this way. Because if my left hand is controlling his head, okay, I have a couple of situations here. I can lift here, and if he bridges, it's completely an ineffective upa or bridge. I just need to have this hand out so that I don't put it too narrow and have a narrow base. Because if it's out here and I feel him bridging because his feet, yes, I lift the head and he doesn't bridge. If my elbow's on the mat, watch how high he can bridge. See? So I can feel him putting his hips or feet in a position where he's gonna bridge. So yeah, right, yeah, I can feel that right there. Okay. Now because his face is in my armpit right here, I can do what's called the mother's milk. Okay, where you have it in the, sorry, is that your shoulder or is that face or?
My nose.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're gonna switch up here because he torches his nose going with U.S. leather here. No, it's okay. Oh man, this is really working effectively.
One down.
All right, so the way you mount, the way I mount is dynamic because I can always move. This way here, okay? I can step over and mount very easily here. Or if his leg's up and he won't let me, I'm okay with it. I'll grab a leg here. And I'll go north, south, here. I can always go here, and I can always go here and here. Now, because his arms are below, okay, I can always go for the mother's milk here, where it's just a smother. And I'm just not letting him breathe in the V of the armpit. It's much easier to do with the gi. If your elbows are open, you can tuck his chin and you can kind of breathe. So you kind of get here, and you pinch that left elbow, yeah, and you lift the head, okay. You kind of grab your elbows, you can kind of lock it here, and then you lift it here, okay. Because now even you say, well, your arms are narrow, but the thing is that he can't effectively bridge, because he tries to bridge, and I'm going to smother him before, because he's got very limited air capacity. It's like a scuba tank that's on low, okay? So you get to the mount. So first thing I want you guys to do is, the second you get to the mount, you will have the underhook here, okay? You have to begin to fight to bring this up. Yes, so that happens here. You can turn his head this way here, slide up a little bit, your feet, and lift, and finish, okay? But also, what you have is, because depending on which way his head rotates, because sometimes they'll turn their head to the left, okay? Now, what Andre did to me the other day was this. He just grabbed here, and he just went, oh, like this. That was bad. That was really bad. And I had a half guard too. So the thing that's hard here is that he likes to, and what you can do is get that, what do you call it, head turned that way. And even if you push this leg into a half guard, your head is still that way. You can't effectively even get the underhook. As now, it's almost like you got here, and then he just crushes you, okay? And he doesn't do it to you guys, he only does it to me. And I got tapped, I remember my neck popped. And then I'm like, okay, before my jaw pops, I just got tapped. So we're here, I'm walking this out, he's fighting, yes. So now I'm just gonna get the sleeve fist right here. And I'm gonna finish this. Okay. The way you get the sleeve fist is also, I wanna have dynamic control of his hips and my hips engaged. So what I'm trying to do is trying to bait him, like a master, into tucking that arm, this, and I lock it here. I grab my own sleeve, and I pull this lock out, and my right elbow's on the mat, because I don't want to let this arm come back in to help. And now my fist here creates tension back, and I'm just going to begin to lift the fist and slide my hips back as I begin to bring this out towards like 1 o'clock. So my shoulder can roll in his face, and my fist can roll into his opposite side of the face, okay? When you get here, you have to grab, take this lock out, and once it tightens, your hand comes up, and it just has to go over your fist. And you'll notice one thing. If you do it here, you won't get enough shoulder pressure. If you bring this, once you connect, right where the jaw and mouth open, where the wisdom teeth are, and you open this up this way here, I'm really connected to him. Now I can roll my hip, rolls my shoulder, and I can pull with my hand here, and then my fist rolls a little bit more. Okay? And you just barely roll this forward, not to be a total lead. Okay? So you're always fighting here to bring this up, because if he doesn't, he's really kind of not in a good situation here. Because now from here, you're able to get head arm chokes here. You can sometimes finish it from here, okay? Or you can hop up and you can finish it here, okay? And I know he's answering the phone, because here what happens is that if he's answering the phone, or he's grabbing a leg, okay. if they answer the phone on this right here, yeah, I taught that to Andre too. So answering the phone won't help. It's almost makes it worse. He doesn't pull it slowly. All right, so side control. Oh, he's putting his head down. He's trying to get his head down. Control the head again. And control them both. He's trying to get that head down here. Lock it here. Controlling here. Fist. Tension back, and then just fist comes up over your fist, and you slide your hips back, and you're gonna go out this way here. Okay. So you lock it here, grab it, pull the sleeve out, and then just this fist comes up, and you'll get here. Your shoulder can roll right there. So we'll start with that. Okay. Because what happens is that if you're going here and he begins to turn his head away, yeah, now you have this right here. And that's very effective because you'll find that little magic spot right there where he won't be able to breathe. And you'll lift. Okay. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
The reaching into your own sleeve is okay.
You can reach.